We have been using the term machine learning model multiple times so far, and we sort of understand that this is a software that is able to give us some sort of a prediction if you give it an input data. We have that much of an understanding about machine learning model. Now, the next step is for us to understand how to interpret a machine learning model. In order to do that, let's get a little bit more clarification on how a machine learning model is getting created. All right. So, typically, a machine learning model it is typically a file or an object in your Python or R console, whichever programming language you're using. It is an object within that programming language that has been trained on some sort of a data. It has learned something from the data to form some sort of a mathematical equation or a set of rules as it is. So it contains some information, and using that information, it is able to create predictions or do some sort of a task. So this is generally what we mean by a machine learning model. Typically, this is an object within your Python or R or Julia console, whichever language you are using. This object may be stored as a file in your file system, and you can load it again as an object in your console and use it. Now, how is this process of creating a machine learning model works? Nearly all the time, you will have a training data. You have an input data. You also have a machine learning algorithm. This algorithm learns from the data. This process is what we call as training the machine learning model. So the algorithm and data on training becomes a machine learning model, right? Now, to this model, you pass a new instance of the training data that is similar to what we had in the original training process. You pass one instance and you don't know the answer to this data. Here we pass in both the answer as well as the inputs, I mean, right? You pass in the input plus answer, you get a model. To this model, you pass in just the input, you get an answer. This is how we create a machine learning model itself. Now, this machine learning model can be of multiple different forms. Depending on the machine learning algorithm that you are using, the way the model has learned and stores its information can change from algorithm to algorithm. Couple of very popular, very common base algorithms is linear regression and decision trees. As a next step, what we are going to do is we are going to see how a linear regression is storing that information that it has learned as a mathematical model. This is in form of an equation. The model that has been learned by the machine learning algorithm is stored in form of a mathematical equation in linear regression. Whereas in decision tree, the information that the model has learned is stored in form of if-else conditions, a hierarchical, layered hierarchical structure of if-else conditions. And this if-else conditions, a group of if-else conditions together forms what is called the decision tree. In the next few videos, we will try to understand how to interpret the contents of a given linear regression and decision tree.